Hello, blind tubers, and welcome back to Let's Play Final Fantasy Renaissance with me, BlueAnkylo, also Jack Garland. I didn't really mention it because it was a spoiler, but it's episode 2 now, and the comments probably spoiled it already in episode 1. Yeah, in Stranger to Paradise, the weird Final Fantasy prequel, Jack, one of your main characters, the one that says chaos all the time, it was memed about a lot last year. Turns out he's Garland, I think. I didn't play the game, but it's weird. His last name's Garland. Apparently the princess actually was cool with him or something. I don't know. Anime stuff. It's fine. We're welcome back! I don't actually know what I'm talking about. But that's where the Jack name comes from if you're totally out of the loop. I got to level 14 fighting some peds and trolls. It was honestly not really hard at all. And now we are a force to be reckoned with. The damage bump from 1 attack to 2 attack with these massive weapons is truly exceptional. And we're going to go smack around the vampire probably. But here, an example. The reliability increase from getting 2 attacks is really hard to describe. You just have to feel it. Whenever we're doing archer strats or hunter strats, ranger, whatever they're called with the bow in Renaissance, I always talk about how bad the single attack bow is, no matter how much damage it does in one hit. This is your perfect counterexample. The reliability upgrade when you get 2 attacks, 2 chances to crit, the average damage just being decent, like you don't fail to kill stuff as much anymore. It's just such a power up. There's such a feeling of getting 2 attacks, and 3 attacks is still 50% more, but 1 to 2 doubles is such a huge upgrade, and it was always one of my favorite things in the original FF1. Once you got to around, level 10-ish, depending on the weapon, and suddenly you attack twice, and instead of missing or hitting, it's at least hitting once, basically. You never miss and do 0 anymore, or even doing 2 hits, and suddenly you're killing ogres and sharks in 1 hit. And if you do get a critical or something, absolutely destroy them. The Dark Knight just dials that up to 11. We could probably fight some Grogers. The problem will be not on this floor. As is tradition, solo runs die in Earth. Well, they die in ice, really. But if you were trying to do a speed run Iron Man or something, this is where you die. I don't know. Does anyone actually do that? 1 death and game over? Don't do that. This is the floor of pain. It's too long. There's too many fights that are really bad for anyone. But they're really bad for solo. But we'll see how we do. The werewolves are not the ones I'm too worried about, but we'll see how we do here. There is a sword on this floor that we will pick up, but I might deal with the vampire first. It's in one of the side. I think it's to the right. But it's less damage. It's just makes your lifesteal better, which is neat. Yeah, this is where we die. These are the fights that will kill us, and there's nothing I can do. I don't think Bio 2 has. How much HP do you think a Spectre has? They all resist it, so they're doing half damage and less. There's a chance you can kill one. It'll probably do 30 to 60 damage, because they're going to resist most of the time. No, it'll be less than that. Originally it's 330 to 120. Now it's 15 to 60. So it is possible you could kill one, but the odds are tiny. We got away. There's always that. Just get lucky. Some extra levels did get us a little bit more luck. Maybe. I actually didn't check. We don't get a lot of stats when we level up. That's true. But we got just lucky, I think our run chance is like 20%, just from my experience so far. Not great. Not very reliable. But hey, we made it to the vampire. Now, undead means kind of works against most of our stuff, so we just attack them. We missed one. Not great. And paralyzed. And awake. And paralyzed. And awake. And we get an attack. Not very good. We got him, though. Okay, hey, you know what? We got really lucky that we woke up twice in a row from paralyzed. That's not very likely. Can the luck persist on Jack Garland? The darkest of nights. The finest knight of Carnaria. I really wouldn't expect to one trip the vampire on a solo low luck character, but you never know. It's possible. If all we fight is wolves, we'll be alright. I'm definitely not making that side trip to get the great sword. No siree. So how you guys doing? Enjoying the challenge? I guess werewolves, although they can poison you, they probably don't resist poison, and this is just taking forever. I never feel confident using offensive attacks on runs where we're probably gonna reset. Oh no. Well, no, they can't resist it. That was just decent damage. Some, they can resist it, but they don't take half, I don't think. We saw 120s there. There's no way that was a resisted element. Besides, our regular swings are pretty good. Hey, a level up. That's what we definitely needed. I mean, slightly better stats, you know? Oof. Please. Please. No. Well. Take a drink of whatever you drink. Smoke them if you got them. This might be it. Oh, we woke up, but do we get a turn? No. You need to wake up at the end of the round and then run at the beginning of the next round, and you know, it's possible. I'm gonna run out of water in this fight. Well, you know, solo. Oh, no. Denied. Remember how lucky we were against the vampire? Oh! No. We seem to recover from paralysis relatively frequently, which is neat. But, no, they're chipping me down. We're dead. We never actually got a turn. It's just brutal. They only really hurt me on crits, but, you know, they crit every now and then. Hey! Nope. One last little sliver of a chance, right? What a troll. I think I have had it happen once where I woke up at like 1 HP and managed to escape, but like... Alright. One trip into Earth failed. Unfortunately, we just kind of need to avoid those. If we don't run, I'm just going to reset. Because that fight's going to take too long in terms of real life time. My life is, no. No, we're not doing 8 gargoyles. Please. They're not even that bad compared to stun dead, because they can't stun you. 3 is bad enough for, like, how many attempts to run? That's 1? Okay, we got it on the second try. Not too bad, but, you know. If they're going to attack us 8 times per failed run, it just slows it down. Impatient Ankylo. And you don't even really have the option of just, like, swinging your sword at them. Like, you can kill 1 per turn, but it's still going to take forever. What are these gigantic packs? Come on. Now, we're not a very high level for solo Earth. I know we can kill the vampire, so we could grind more, but it won't change much about our luck against undead. And I think I mentioned in the first episode, I would like to promote before we're like level 50, because, you know, we're going to get some stat boosts as soon as we get promoted. And therefore, early grinding is a little bit... I think you need to grind enough to survive, but no more if you're trying to get optimal stats for the end game here. This fight, we'll just fight him, I think. I think we might have had a preemptive, though, so I could have just ran, but whatever. 2 mummies is not too bad. All right, you know what? We do one attempt to run, and then we do a bio. Bam, 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 bam. One of them is poisoned, even. So, apparently, bio... You even killed it with poison. Apparently, I looked it up. The bio spells for Dark Knight, the kind of custom Dark Knight spells, they do 3 to 18 damage per turn. I don't think it tells you. Oh, it does. It says it right there. 3 to 18 per turn. You tell me if that's very relevant. They don't seem to apply it very often either. Alright, 150, that's more like it. Unfortunately, instantly stunned. Ooh, awake again. And stunned again. Man. We got wrecked on that fight. We had one turn. We still almost killed him. Yeah, such is my life. Solo running. This is why some solo runs I just off-camera grind like crazy. Because it gets really hard to talk about things when we're just doing the same thing over and over again. And the outcome is it's not up to me. I don't get a vote. It's just... Like, even this fight, I don't get to decide when we escape. The game decides when I finally get allowed to leave. How long am I stuck here with nothing to talk about? Okay. Too many gargoyles again, but... Do gargoyles resist poison? Like... No. See how much damage this does. They should. They're like constructs, but that's not great. I mean, we killed one. Poisoned one that will probably die eventually, but I don't know. Running or this? I guess I could have used 2 of my rare spell slots, but if you could keep your experience on a wipe, I would kill a lot more stuff. Because you wouldn't, like, literally just waste your time, but... That's a different game. Okay, wizards! We should be okay. We got better armor and a better weapon. We still didn't get the kill. Well, we definitely do enough damage with pain here. Might as well take it. 16... I'll use another pain. Because they still hit really... They hit a lot. Yeah, we should have... Like, I think the odds were we killed one in one hit. We just rolled pretty low on that first attack. And that's why we took so much damage. But that was only 3. They come in larger groups in here. This is an ambush. Terrible. Managed to not get... So sometimes small image packs, I actually think it's better to attack. They only get 1 attack each, so their odds of stunning you are a little bit lower than Spectres. Well, they're actually a lot lower than Ghouls. They definitely can paralyze you. But because our run chance is too low, like each one we kill makes it much more likely we survive this fight. And we should one-shot them most of the time. Of course, we get stunned. So, I mean, I had 1 chance to run. Maybe we would have got away. But also now there's only 2, so the chance of getting another turn is higher. Of course, we fail. Maybe the difference with paralysis, it just needs a higher recovery rate for it to be less terrible. Like, there's a lot of things about stun and paralysis in FF1 that's not really very well balanced. I think enemies getting, you know, like 8 attacks on crawls, each hit can paralyze you. These Geists have 3 chances to paralyze you. Plus, it was literally bugged in the original, where even on a miss, it could paralyze you. Not that that comes up super often, but, like, this is death, right? There's no freaking way. The fact that Geists get 3 attacks, I think Spectres only get 1? Yeah, so the Geists are the real problem with the stun lock. But that's maybe very, like, AD&D style, yes. But even in a full group, this can stun lock the whole group pretty easily. I think if I was rebalancing things, I wouldn't want to make these fights trivial, because they should always be scary. But 1 chance to paralyze per turn instead of 3. Maybe some equipment that gives you protection, or a spell that gives you protection from paralyze. I don't know. Because this is probably the worst part of FF1. Right? There's nobody, like, we don't need this much paralyzed touch. It's just, oops. Whatever. Kill him. It's just, it really makes me not want to do solo challenges, actually. Everything else about the solo challenge is pretty fun, except for RNG stun locks. And mage ambushes. But that's kind of the same thing. I guess death touch sorcerers, but they're not actually that common. The number of sorcerers you usually find in a run is pretty low. So it's like frequency and effectivity, right? Like super effective attacks that you only have to deal with once in a while, that's okay. But you run into these giant packs of multi-stun touch enemies. Like, honestly, just way too much. I'm not trying to complain too much here, but you can see the problem, right? Like, I'm now 15 minutes into my run, my episode, and basically all of it has been watching my character be stunned. You could say, Blue, you could grind out some levels. Every level is like 2% more magic resistance. Yeah, by the point that we don't get stun locked, we will be level 40 or something. That's a lot of grinding. And that's way too much. Because you just instantly kill anything besides this runs away or gets one shot. And honestly, if you're only at like 90% magic resistance or 90 out of the enemies are still probably going to stun lock you. So even if you're close to that immunity level, it's not enough. Not for the number of attempts they get to paralyze you. That comes up more when I'm prepping for Ice Cave than Earth usually, but you know, Earth can be mean. And today, Earth is being very mean to us. And hey, you can't say my level is actually that low. Some of the enemies in here do run from us already. Obviously, asps are not very dangerous, but level 14 is about the point in vanilla where you should probably be doing this dungeon. Especially with a full party, but solo is probably usually a little bit higher, I guess. Depends on your party. Depends on your, sorry. Yes, your party, but... Well, this is the other fight. The good news is, if we get a turn, we instantly kill them all, I think. The birds have low HP, so... At least that encounter, we only need 1 turn to win. The stun dead are much worse. There we go. Yeah, I do think the wizards shouldn't pose a huge threat. That time we took out 3, barely took any damage. So that's kind of what I was thinking for not... Like, level 14, I think, is the ideal level, because we get that extra hit. And at this point, most of the things we run into should be easily dealable. It's just... Well, specters. And the vampire did get me that last try, so that was unfortunate. Oh, he's got 1 HP? How rude. 83 out of 84. Still, they don't do too much damage mostly. Not with all our big armor. Again, a fighter with the shield equipped as well would do a little better here. In terms of, you know, his full absorb would be like 44 or something, I think. And if you really want, you can buy that knight armor and go even higher absorb. But it doesn't make much difference. Okay, vampire, that's 2 out of 3. I do think most of the time we should win against the vampire. We might even be in a reasonable chance of just one-shotting him. Oh, we even went first. Oh, I hate this game. Oh. I don't see the point of grinding levels Because our chance to run isn't really going to go up. Not significantly via leveling. This is the worst. I mean, I could reset, but we've already killed the vampire. I should at least... I don't know, what do you think the chances of us ever getting one more action? From full HP stun in one of these encounters, what's the chances of actually getting to input one more command? It's happened. I'd say if you have enough armor to generally take, you know, 1 damage per hit. I bet just like 1 in 5 with a good amount of HP. There's a chance you get another turn, somewhere around 20%. Doesn't happen often, but it's definitely happened to me, you know, more than once. Enough that I think it's worth. We almost got it. We were awake, and we just couldn't get the, you know, we just couldn't quite make it. All right. Well, we've got 2 kills on the vampire. Am I missing any strategies? I don't want to be like, you know, let's play blind. I've got all the spells open on the second screen. Sleep is never going to work on undead. Bio doesn't work on undead. Dark doesn't work on undead. Pain only hits 1 target. It doesn't even matter. They don't do enough damage for pain to reflect anything. Hold is never going to work on undead. Bio 2. I've been trying to decide if that's worth trying. Like, if your run rate was, like, terrible. Let's say you had a 1% chance to flee. Like, the worst possible. Which is lower than our actual chance, I think. I would rather do a little bit of damage, either attack or bio 2, if our run chance was basically nothing. Yes, but if you run, you definitely win. If you cast bio 2, you do not kill anything. You're going to have to cast it like... This is ambush. This is ridiculous. Oh, 9 of them. Yeah, we're going to get ambushed a lot too with our bad luck. Like, you only get 1 input. And if you fail it, you're probably dead. So Bio 2 is not changing that unless you get... I'm going to say probably 3 or 4 casts of it. And that's like our whole... Like, we could only do that once. We only get 3 casts. That might be enough to kill all the specters and geists, or whatever they are, if you could get 3 turns. And, like, we have had a fight. You wouldn't know in advance, but we have had a chance where we failed to run, like, 3 times. And in that scenario, it would have been better, in hindsight, to cast Bio 2 3 times. Probably. But that's in hindsight. In this situation, if our run rate is really bad, maybe we try to kill the Geist that get 3 paralyzes. Once they're dead, it's just 1 chance per specter, I think. We double check. Triple, quadruple check. I always forget which ones get multi-attack. Yeah, so specters just get 1. They're annoying, but they're not nearly as bad as the Geists. Try? We did get a turn, easily kill 1. I could have run away. That's 1 chance to run. That's 2 chances to run, but at this point, I think we win. Because even if they paralyze me now, we wake up. So, a small group, swinging, might be a better odds overall than running. Especially because we're bad at running. Someone who's really good at running, like a ninja or something, definitely just run. Don't worry about it. Even if your offensive output is similar. Of course, if you're a ninja, you're probably casting fire too anyway. But if you're a thief, you know, just run. You can't kill them in 1 shot anyway, and your run rate is a lot better, so... Kind of just depends on the class for that, which is the better play, but... Same thing here. If we get a turn, I can't fail. Yeah. Oh, we failed. So Bio 2 is not 100% against birds. Seriously? And I think, like, I could... If I can kill the 3 Geists, maybe there's a chance. This is where it gets really hard. I would need to know my exact evade runaway chance. I don't know. I guess I'll try swinging this time. We may not even get a turn anyway. Yeah, like, it doesn't even matter. Getting really bad luck. This is the big problem with slow solo characters. The evade rate is, like, we don't dodge at all, so they always get maximum number of hits in. And our luck is bad, so we get ambushed, we get less preemptive strikes. When we do get a chance to run, we don't hit it as often. And I don't have any kind of sweeper that works. So, like, the white mage uses harm 2, the black and red mage uses fire 2, the thief, well, isn't much better, but at least has a run chance. And the fighter actually has way more magic resistance and doesn't get stunned as much. It's funny. The fighter has the same kind of problem, but they're actually less likely to get stunned. And a few levels makes a pretty big difference on them. In terms of the new jobs, well, Dragoon, if you manage to jump, you win. Anybody with a sweeper spell that works, which is most of the mages. It's really bad for, like, the Evoker. The Evoker can confuse them, but that's not very reliable. I had a really rough run in here with the Evoker, too. Green Mage would have a terrible time. No harm spell. No easy way to kill them at all. Bad run rate. I don't know if I'm ever going to do a solo green. I think it's just going to be slow. Like, it's got ruse, so you can beat the bosses, but I think White Mage was more fun, and even that was pretty rough. At least with the Dark Knight, like, it's mostly just this specific encounter that I don't want. And we're just getting it over and over again. Now, at some point, we almost got a turn to run away there, but we just didn't get it. So we never really got a turn. Like, I input the command, but we never got a chance to run. I'm trying to decide how long this goes before I scrap the episode. But I think you guys should see. Even though we're really awesome, powerful, this is the problem with Dark Knight and any of the heavy armor fighters. I think we could have got it first try, right? We could have got to the vampire, killed him, and got out. If we didn't get the high number of Geist packs, I think we would have done it in one, probably. Theoretically, there's ways of sort of manipulating the encounter table so that you don't see those packs. I could look up the encounter table for the 3rd floor of Earth, try to figure out where I am on it, or just hard reset to reset it, and see if there's a big gap where there's no Geist fights for however many number of encounters it takes to get through. Probably a lot, 7 or 8 maybe, just to be sure. And then you would maybe have to fight a wizard or some cockatrice, but at least you'd have a chance. But I've never done that before, and I don't know if I want to start on this one. I made it through with solo Bard. Actually, the Bard didn't do that bad against them, to be honest. He could just attack them for AoE damage that worked mostly. Which was definitely a treat for our rather difficult solo Bard. Yeah, he had the anti-undead harp by now, actually. He killed it. It was in Marsh he was suffering, but in Earth, actually, he did okay. Because if you fought one of those packs, goes first, and he just kills them all. But yeah, I'm not really looking forward into, like, charting a route through the encounter table, if I can possibly avoid it. I guess once I do, or maybe someone else, maybe there's a guide on the internet, like, if I looked it up, maybe someone else has done it. Surely there are other people who do solo runs. And someone, or even just, like, speed runs in general. I know, a lot of these old NES games are just, manipulated runs for the best speed runs, where basically the encounter table's known. And I think most of the vanilla FF1s are like that, actually, if you're not doing, like, randomizers and stuff. I was watching some videos on FF7, actually, same thing. They've got the encounter, not just, like, which formation of enemies you fight, but the number of steps it takes to get an encounter, and it's not, like, tile-based like it is here, but it's like a... The game still calculates your steps in finite steps, of course. It's not real life. There's no quantum physics to worry about. Each pixel, or whatever, however it calculates it, is still one step, and, the encounters are fully understood nowadays, so... Yeah, vampires should be pretty safe. Okay, well that's 3 vampires down. If I fail this one, maybe I'll take a break and we'll go kill something. I don't know. I almost thought of doing lifesteal on this fight. The problem is, we take so much damage wasting a turn. It's like, it's just going to be better to use heal potions after the fight. Unless we take literally 1 damage from the enemies and we're just using it to free heal. But I can't afford to start a fight less than maximum. So this should be okay, right? We're not going to die from full health against 1 image, right? Come on, Jack. Please. Please. I don't know what the odds of recovering from Paralyze are. Sometimes you get it immediately, sometimes it takes too long. Okay. Yeah, 1v1, it's okay. It's worse against the enemies that hit you 3 times, but images aren't too bad. Almost the home stretch. After this, it's the home stretch. I threatened to leave and go fight some Tyros and stuff, and maybe I will be rewarded. I should save another bio for potential birds, just in case. I suppose... Well, that guy bled to death. I could have done some lifesteal, but that guy actually, I think, ran away. That's fine. Oh. Oh, come on. Please. Please. Random seed generator. Don't. Please, kill them all. We got a turn. Okay. We should... There's no way. Like, 6 steps? Okay. That one could have killed us easy. We're not immune to, like, being turned to stone. We resist, darkness. That is not the same as stone. But we're good now. We're good. Whew. Oh, that only took like half an hour, but that was bad. That was one of the worst streak of lucks I've had in the Earth Dives in a while. For a character that is otherwise very powerful. Most of the fights, like 0% chance of death, but those stun groups were just absolutely tearing me up. Okay, this is good. This is good. We get a little bit of healing off some gargoyles for free, because sure, why not? I just want to kill something, because I've been stun locked and running away for so long. Feels nice to get some murder off. Every time we fail to run, we kill a snake. I guess you want to die then, fine. How about you? Are you safe? Do you want to let me live? Okay, then you die. So, run chance. Not very good. Maybe that's the lesson here. Solo runs with low run chance. Brutal. To be fair, if we had been pre-promoted, we would have a lot of luck already. All the bats in Marsh are +1 luck. Or at least a good chunk of them are. I think there's some intelligence bats too. But... Well... Do we get some more levels before we go for the Lich? The overall distance is pretty similar in terms of you know, stun packs. It's floor 3 and 4 are the most brutal. If we get to the Lich, I give us pretty good odds there as well. Not guaranteed. The Lich will be chipping us down with magic. Not much we can do about that, but we will be hitting him pretty hard. Well, he does get, like 40 absorb or something like that. But we have a really powerful base weapon, so... I expect we will hit around 100 plus damage on average per turn. 4 turns should kill him if we get 4 turns. I think that's not too unlikely. That's a quick guess. Maybe I'll go buy some more heal potions. Yeah, I was thinking low level would be fun. Maybe we go to the Peninsula of Power though, because hey, you guys have already watched me goof around in Earth all day. Maybe I should do a little bit of leveling on the side for fun. Show off that we're actually not that bad. It's actually probably faster to grind at Crescent Lake. But I know people love the Peninsula. Oh, shadows. Everyone should have fire too. That's the new rule. No challenge runs without fire 2. It's the only thing that works against the undead. Just need fire 2 for everybody. Free light axe. Yeah, the run chance is definitely what's going to drive me crazy here. That's a lot of tigers. Let's see how much our blind damage can do. Dark. 2 out of 3 dark. 279, not bad. Yeah, it's definitely still upgraded. It's before we had 2 attacks regularly, the blind effect really made our damage go crazy, but now it's like our damage is already so high that it's, you know, better, but maybe only like 50% better. I hate those shadows. They don't even hurt me, they just annoy me. Imagine if they actually lowered your strength. Oh, it'd be the worst. You have to go to an inn to recover or something. No, you gotta get greater restoration. It'd be brutal. We did get a level up. Is there any... No, Bind doesn't matter. Bane can't learn it. I can learn Power Word Stun, but it only works on enemies that are not resistant to status with less than 300, which doesn't really help us. 2 level ups. What's the, Oh, you know, I never did buy... I was going to buy this sword. I've got enough money now. It doesn't really matter. You know, maybe what I'll do is I'll pick up the lifesteal sword. Because this gives me... In 2 level ups, this actually gives me 3 attacks. That might be worth considering, although it is a significant damage down. But I want to pick up the lifesteal sword, and I guess we'll do that today. And I actually might get a couple more levels before we go for Lich in between episodes. Because that was brutal. That was... I mean, we could get it first try. But it also could take another 12 tries, or 20 tries, or 100 tries. And, you know, after Earth is just ice, so ice is worse. Right? Is there any world where ice is not worse than Earth for us? I don't think so. So these are going to be not quite as difficult as the last run, but definitely still some risk, because I'm just trying to get the greatsword and get out. I'll save my bios. I don't really get enough level 3 charges to spam those too often. If we had 100% lifesteal on our skill, would I use it more? We would have to drop our damage down a lot, though. That's a... I kind of think that it's a neat idea to give you a weapon that makes your life steal better, but I think it needs to do it on a regular attack, not a spend a turn to activate it kind of thing. If you want it to be a weapon that does less damage, basically. Alright, let's heal up on some ogres, maybe. Look at me saving the heal potions. Super relevant. I hope I remember the treasure chest that has this sword in it. I'm not 100% sure. I know the one that has the bell and the spear. The one to the right... Well, I gotta check this because it's closest, but I don't think this is... Yeah, it's garbage. So that was one encounter for nothing. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I know where the sword is. Yeah, it's almost the same distance as the vampire fight, oddly enough. Not quite, but not too far. I mean, maybe this dip will make me feel confident enough to go just kill the Lich anyway, right? Maybe we'll just get it first try, and then it won't take all day. And I won't even need to grind. Forget which chest it is. Mage Masher, no. That's it. So this bad boy, very weak, very bad at hit, but the secret effect is it makes your blood weapon steal 100%. Still doesn't work against undead though. So still pretty low value for me. Okay, I tried. I'll pick it up after we have a ribbon. Honestly, I don't see myself using it. Let's wrap up our episode because I'm getting like super tilted by specters. By just beating up on some dinosaurs, I guess. We could kill some Peds, but actually the bind spell might be good against Peds. Peds love to run away. If I do need to grind against Crescent Lake enemies, that's what I want. Are you freaking kidding me? Gee whiz. We are so bad at getting away from battle. Like, if I don't put a save down every, like, half the trip, we just get swarmed by enemies we can't escape from. It's fine, it's just really rude. One step. Sure. Thanks, game. I think I'll buy some tents at Canaria. I swear if I get stun locked here, I'm just throwing this game out the window. The whole computer. I think it'd be really smart to add... Like, I don't think it's just me complaining. It'd be really smart to add some stun paralysis protection. Either in Marsh or before Earth or Ice or somewhere. I don't know where exactly, but maybe like one before Marsh and then another one before Earth and another one before Ice. Just so that, like, maybe they're like guarded by a trap tile that's pretty strong. Kind of like an optional fight. I would take an optional fight against, like, something quite deadly. Something that level gated you a little bit if you didn't have a good strategy. Just to get, not a ribbon. Ribbons are too strong, but, like, just paralyzed protection. That's fine. That would be nice. Good run. Alright, well, let's see what we can kill up here. That's a lot of ice damage. Probably can't win this, but we'll see. Well, we rolled good magic resistance. Not bad, honestly. Probably okay. Neat. So, we can win against Frost Wolves. Even a relatively large pack. We will need to use a lot of houses to get through those if we want to do more, but interesting. Alright, quad giants. I'm going to try dark. I actually think this fight's pretty safe too for us. Only one. Bad luck. Let's kill him. Yeah. And try again. Taking some damage. Got 2 more. Kill 1. Maybe heal up a little, maybe? Oof. Need some turn order. Okay, we're okay now. 4 giants! And we end with almost full HP. Pretty solid. Haven't lost yet. I'm gonna use that house now. Should have brought some houses up here with me, honestly. Double giant should be easy. Whatever. If I fail the dark, I'll just reset. Okay, if I take like 5,000 damage before I get a turn, I'll just reset. If I fail the dark, I reset. Like, I could still win the fight, it's just... What's the point of having the dark spell if it doesn't actually blind anybody, you know? Hey, this is what I was looking for. Can we defeat a Tyro? No. Come on, get him. This spell is just garbage. Why do I even try? This is terrible. 0 for 4. Absolutely useless. Alright. What's the magic defense? I think Tyros do have a tremendous magic resistance. I don't know why, but... Yeah, 200 magic defense doesn't really make sense to me. But, okay. Don't try to use magic on Tyros if you're a Black Knight. Clearly, it doesn't freaking work. Yeah, this is why starting as a Death Knight would be... And, I mean, once we get promoted, we'll have access to the, take damage to blind everything and damage enemies. That will feel pretty good once we get that. Crit me? How dare you? And we didn't even kill him back? Well, we could kill 4, but not 3. So, this is not, like, easy. I think the Giants just got lucky critting me that last fight there. 1 out of 3. What are the Giants? Just now I have to double check everything. 120 M defense? That's not too insane. Try one more time. Useless. So, Dark... Still a terrible spell. Even though it synergizes with our attack a lot, I think we're better off attacking. Like, by a pretty significant margin. That's too bad, because that is kind of how this class is built. Now, if you've got a friend who can dark things more reliably, then that's fine. But if you're wasting a turn where you're not attacking to try to put a mostly useless debuff on them, and it doesn't work on undead or any... Like, there's a ton of things that resist it anyway. Dark, the spell, needs a buff if you want the Dark Knight to not... I don't think we actually can win this fight, interestingly enough. Zombles... Only 1 attack. I guess the troll does a little bit more damage because it gets 3 attacks. But yeah, I don't think we win against this fight. Maybe I should have kept the troll alive and healed off of it after we took a bunch of damage, but I think too many zombies. Probably. Maybe. Well, you know, it's possible. I think we're in range where it could work. We would need to crit kill 1 really fast. Yeah, that's a possible win. Surprisingly, I didn't think that we had a chance there. Alright, Giants. It just never works. So the odds of this hitting must just be trash. Like, now I accept that the Dark Knight doesn't get a high intelligence boost affecting it. If you're using a Black Mage with Darkness, it's probably fairly reliable by now. But yeah. So you basically need the Dark Knight to bring someone else to do his debuffing. That just makes his spell selection like kind of pointless. I mean, you could try going Bio 2, at least it's damage. But it's not very much. Not once we start doing real swinging damage, sword damage. I don't think there's any way we win this with Bio 2, right? Like, the super poison is not all that impressive. I mean, most of them are poisoned, but I think... I mean, we could try putting them to sleep once they're poisoned, I guess, if we get a turn. Basically useless. We spent one action to get rid of one of their 4 attacks. Yeah, it's like less than a 25% chance to hit. That's absolutely terrible. And that's like pretty close to vanilla hit rates. So yeah, that's the problem, right? Just attack. Maybe Blood Weapon is worth it on these sorts of fights. It's still, like, we took 100 damage to cast that spell. And are we even going to get it back by the time it wears off? Yes, we got fully healed. Okay, well that was a crit though. I think, honestly, Blood Weapon, maybe it should last 3 or 4 turns. Or just the rest of the fight, maybe? I don't know. Giving up an action is such a expensive... Like, I think the developer maybe undervalues how big of an expense simply using your action without dealing damage is. It's really expensive. Think of, like, for you guys that know D&D, like 5th edition specifically, how powerful is the command spell? Most people, DMs especially, are like, that's a crazy powerful spell for the players, because it's just a chance, but it's a good chance that one enemy just loses their turn. That's pretty much all it does. It doesn't, like, kill anybody, it doesn't deal damage. It's just, like, one word, usually wait, you know, stop your turn, basically. And that is basically enough for it to be very valuable for the team. The player action economy, one player spends one action to deny an enemy an action. And it's kind of like you're doing that to yourself. You know, with all the charge turns on the summoner or the spell blade or stuff like activating a skill that doesn't do anything immediately. It's not like always a bad trade-off, but the point is, I guess, that it's an expensive cost, and I think more expensive maybe than people are like immediately aware of. If you're doing game design, like, I'm not a game designer, so, you know, I'm just talking from my own experience, but I have dabbled, let's say. I would call myself a what would I call myself? I have made some games, just nothing like professional. Maybe not even indie, really. I don't know. Recreational, hobbyist, yeah. Hobbyist game designer. I haven't done a lot of professional game development. It's different when you're talking big AAA studios with marketing departments. But when you're just talking about what makes a good game balance, you know, you can find a lot of that information. There's books. I've read a couple. There's online resources and stuff. There's tutorials. And because I'm a DM for our, you know, couple groups, I've done quite a lot of dungeon mastering for my tabletop groups. You're definitely doing game balancing and game design a lot when you're thinking about, well, I guess not everybody does, to be fair. I don't want to generalize too much, but I spend a lot of time trying to balance my encounters so they're, you know, difficult, but not everyone dies, and they're fun. And sometimes they're easy, but how do you know in advance whether or not an enemy encounter is going to be too hard, or if you give your party some magic items that are useful, but, like, do they break the game, right? So I would say probably considerably more than average thinking about consequences of one action on the balance of a game. That's also how my head works. I love that analytical thinking stuff. And you can math it out too if you I have a lot of experience with math, so you could math out the cost in, like, HP or something of not attacking and take the percentage to hit, percentage chance to kill something, and then, like, by not attacking or using your turn, what's the effect on the group by delaying that one action? And it's probably higher than a lot of people would think. you know, basically what I mean is the payoff for wasting a turn or not attacking or casting a spell needs to be like more than just attacking twice. Way more, actually. And I don't think Renaissance is quite there yet. And I do really hope the developer gets there. Because I know it's hard to balance, and when you're just creating something from scratch, it honestly takes time and testing to really see what works and what doesn't work. And there are so many combinations in Final Fantasy 1, especially with, like, we're up to what, 18 jobs now? It is definitely hard to think of, like, what the follow-up consequences will be of making a skill that takes 2 turns or 1 turn, right? There's, like, a fatigue system for some skills, so you can't just spam them. Like, there's a lot of mechanics that can add a cost to a powerful ability that are already programmed in. So you've got options, right? It doesn't have to be give up a turn for nothing. But I do think, just watch me casually grind the pop here without too much danger. Now that I stopped using Dark, it's not that bad. Funny, right? Dark is another one where opportunity cost, that's the specific term, I suppose. You are not killing anything or attacking. You are hoping to inflict a status. And it doesn't work very reliably, so the opportunity cost is actually very high, because every enemy you don't kill just keeps adding damage. Now, I will say, just based on the experience I'm having right now, that the opportunity cost of spending a turn on Blood Weapon does balance out sometimes, as we're seeing against these giants. I think it is increasing my odds of winning the fight, and it is definitely decreasing my resource expenditure. I'm not spending as many heal potions. Even if I could win these fights at exactly the same percentage chance with lifesteal strats or just swinging strats, which honestly it might be fairly close, just because you kill things 50% faster if I just attack rather than spending 1 out of 3 turns buffing. But I spend way less heal potions recovering. So if that's your factor, that helps. I think the cost, that's a much lower valuation though. Resource expenditure is not worth nothing. A lot of this game is built on, you know, resource management, like spell slots, HP, heal potions. That's a standard standard mechanic for RPGs, right? Like, you might as well call them resource games, resource management games, and honestly wouldn't be too far off. So it's good to include that in your calculation for, like, is this skill overpowered or too weak? And I think maybe that's kind of thing you'd think for summoners, where you're like, well, they do double damage for the similar tier level spell, like Ramu versus Lightning 2 does about double damage. And it takes 2 turns to cast, so although the damage output is the same in the long run, sort of, you're only spending 1 spell slot to do Ramu rather than 2 spell slots to cast Lightning 2 twice. So you're like, well, that's better on resource economy in the long run, resource management. And that is fair, and in some situations that is an advantage. But the opportunity cost of not attacking for a turn is... the weighting on that should be probably considerably higher. And in practice, for me at least, when I'm weighting it, when I'm playing the game, almost never worth. You know, it's so far unbalanced. Like, it's so far out of balance that I almost consider it, like, it might as well not even exist. And I might not have the perfect take. Maybe I just get annoyed and stop using it ever, and then I'm missing out on some situations where it would be a little bit more reliable, but... I mean, here, I'm using Blood Weapon to grind. Now, we're fighting enemies that are very tanky and deal a lot of damage. So this is like... and they're not undead either. They're not, like, resistant to it. This is about as optimal a scenario for Blood Weapon as we're probably going to get. Once we've got enough levels and damage to just one-shot enemies, it's probably better to do that than spend turns buffing. Or if we're not taking very much damage, wasting a turn rather than just killing them is just meaning we take more damage anyway. On the plus side, the Blood Weapon doesn't cost us anything. It doesn't have, like, a resource cost. So it's pretty cheap. It just costs you your action, but that, like I said, can be... This is a fight I think we have a pretty low odds on. I think maybe I try to kill one Zomble and then Blood Weapon the Troll to heal. Assuming we don't take too much damage. It's not looking great. Obviously, there's quite a large variation in how much damage the enemies do. So, things could work once, but then fail 10 times in a row. Just due to RNG. And I mean, that is part of the difficulty of testing these sorts of situations. The more, like, variance, the more distribution, the harder it is to, like, be certain of your answer. More probability stuff for math. But there we go. We made it to level 20. That's more than I really wanted, but I did it on camera. And it's about an hour. So, you can see our stats. Strength continues to go up. The other stats, not really. And that's what I mean. Luck hasn't really changed. Neither has our vitality, intelligence, agility. So our chance to run from battles hasn't really changed. Our HP has gone up, but not our vitality. Our intelligence hasn't really changed. Our hit rate, our spells are the same. Our agility for evade has stayed basically consistent as well. But we got more hit rate, which means we'll miss less often. And I think, yeah, we're at the point where we can do 3 attacks if we wanted. Although I don't think our damage output is ever the problem, right? So let me just show off the Bastard Sword. Worst. That's not what I want to show it off against. It's okay. We'll fight some ogres eventually. No. Nope. The game just said, fine, I'll kill some imps. So yeah, 3 hits, but less total damage, maybe. Well, you get a crit. What's the... Yeah, I didn't check. What's the crit rate? 5%. You're losing... You're cutting your crit rate in half? I don't actually think the Bastard Sword is good. I think it's giving us a more accurate way to get a couple swings in. But I think it's overcorrected in terms of crit and damage down. Compared to the equivalent... I guess, to be fair... Well, no. Because you get it in Melmond, it does compete directly with the Crescent Lake Greatsword, because those are the two, they open up at the same time. So, yeah. Here's a more typical enemy. Yeah, 3 hits, 273. We'll do a couple fights with this just to show it off, I guess. 3 hits, 158. You know, getting those 3 hits, it probably has better reliability, because you're less likely to miss, you're more likely to hit and connect for average damage. I think you'll find... Let's save again, because whatever. But I think we'll find that our actual damage is generally higher with the kobolds. $198 on 2 hits instead of 130 for 3. 157, still a little bit higher than the other ones. 177's higher. Depends on enemy absorb. I think the higher the absorb, the better the Cobalt Sword will perform. And those enemies already had low absorb, which is kind of the ideal scenario for a Bastard Sword, I guess. Yeah, I think having the damage approximately and having the crit for 1 extra swing is probably not worth it. Maybe going from 1 attack to 2 attacks, sure. But yeah, I think Bastard Sword is pretty much trash. Not convinced that's worth... I mean, it's not that expensive, but I don't think it's actually good enough. Which is kind of too bad. I like the idea of having 1 accurate greatsword, but I kind of think it's so weak that it's trash. So I guess we end the episode here. I don't really want to grind any more levels if I can help it. Obviously, it's not particularly difficult to get a few more levels up. We can do Peninsula Power, we can do Crescent Lake. None of that's particularly hard to win a fight on. What I am doing is going to buy some houses with my bonus cash. There's not really any spells to buy right now, unfortunately. In fact, most of the late game Dark Knight spells are kind of garbage. Like, we've kind of got the best stuff we're going to get, actually, oddly enough. There's the other Drain spell that only works on allies. Bane, when we're promoted, is okay, but not great for low intelligence. We saw Power Word Stun, which is not very good. And I forget the other one at level 6, but... Oh, I can just see it on the side here. My screen's still open. Back up. Rub, not amazing. Single target death. Especially with low intelligence, these are not going to hit very often. Not as often as just smacking them with your sword. Power Word Blind at level 7. Absorb lets you steal a buff on an enemy, but they almost never have a buff. And Quad X is as good as it gets for the Power Word spells, but still pretty weak. And it might even literally be bugged. All the less than 300 HP spells don't seem to work the way they're supposed to for me in the current version. And then Enchant Dark is as bad as all the other enchantment spells, really, so... we don't have much more to look forward to in terms of spells. That's all I have left to say. I guess I could have bought the Knight Armor and gone up to 34 Absorb, like 10 more. 45,000 gold. Instead of buying all those houses, it wouldn't... It actually would lower our evade even more, I think. I'll think about it in between episodes. I don't think it's worth grinding out. Because we're not dying to damage, right? We're dying to status. And technically lowering our evade just makes it more likely to get hit anyway. Not that we're really dodging at all, but... I guess the levels gives me a couple more spell slots. That also doesn't really help us very much. So all we're really doing is getting more HP for making stun locks last longer and longer. What did I come here to check? Sorry, brain, Knight Armor. Something I never check. Or steel armor, whatever. Yeah, minus 33 evade. That's what I thought. It's real heavy. So 10 absorb for 10 evade. That puts us at minus 23. Even the once in a while dodge we're getting would get even less likely, but all for 46 absorb. I don't think that would really help us much. So yeah, levels gave us a tiny bit of magic defense, a bit of strength, some higher hit rate, and some HP. And other than that, I guess we could grind to 64% hit. That's 14%. No, 12% more. So if you want to go to level 24, we'll have 3 attacks. That would make the Lich absolutely easy to kill. But I don't think that's going to be our problem. And I don't really want to grind to 24 if I can help it. So I think we're going to go next time and try to kill the Lich. Wish me luck. Thanks for watching, folks. First episode, we just steamrolled. Second episode, we got hit. We got hit by the stun dead train. So, hopefully a few more levels and living on a prayer. A wish and a prayer, basically. See you next time. Have a great day. Turn the lights off. No light allowed. BlueAnkylo out.